this. They don't think we can keep making hits about cameras. But I'm the cameraman. But I'm the cameraman. Stay creamy.
Yeah, I started on a 50 mil lens. Now I'm about to bag 50 mil yen. I can shoot all day, I got stamina. Turtleneck on with my camera, yeah. Stay creamy, man, that's what they say. Shoes laced up and I came to play. Yeah, I'm first team, I'm a superstar. They call me Cream, like Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, you had to face it, let's get back to basics. I'ma take the shot like it's a vaccination. I don't have the patience, I'ma shoot right now. Yeah, we undefeated and you gon' lose right now. Like click, 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 swish. I can switch it up anytime like this. I'm a videographer and I'm on the verse. So when I shoot my shot, I don't miss.
I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. Pull up and take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, while we wait for Nikon to give us a Z8, I figured I'd go and do a throwback video, basically to cover some of the cameras that I've had leading up to Sony. Yeah, okay. Anyhow, let's get started. My first experience with Nikon digital camera was with the D50. A couple of friends of mine who were living in St. Martin said I should pick one up while I was down in the visit. So I went to the local duty-free store and I got the camera on a pretty good deal and also picked up a 50mm lens at the same time. I shot a few photos with the camera on vacation and I liked how things were looking. You know, first time you get the camera, you shot some auto mode because you just want to, you know, kind of get to know the camera. When I got back home, I started to really dive into the manual side of things. From the old days, I shot manual and give myself an opportunity to learn how to use each camera that I have. So this is not any different than anybody who got a new camera. Once you kind of start playing with the older stuff, you dive into the manual stuff. Anyhow, what I discovered while using the camera was that the kit lens was pretty darn good. I was surprised at the images that was coming from this camera, and you know, digital is again very new, but seeing on the screen and what you got out of the camera was like really awesome. So that led me to start just shooting pictures of everything I could find. At one point I basically shot some insects on a little flower bud and I thought to myself, this thing is looking pretty decent. And I wonder how these macro lens that they have over there, what it would be like. But you know, it was a thought process. You didn't really think about doing it. So yeah, I kind of moved on with things. Then another time I went to a friend of mine's house and I was shooting some flowers in her backyard. And I got really close to one of these budding flowers and, you know, changing the aperture, I could see the lines and not thinking, I was like, I need to get a macro lens. I really need to pick this up and see what's going on. But I didn't. I kind of waited because trying to find one when I priced online, they were kind of pricey. You know, I wasn't ready to spend that money yet. So I started looking around for all-purpose lens, 24-70. Well, back then it was 28-70. Yeah, times have changed. So I got me an old Tokina 28-70 lens and started shooting with that. And the images from that stuff was really darn good. I liked what I got from it. It's older iron lens. You know, back then, coming from film cameras, you kind of used to metal lens, and the plastic stuff for me was just not resonating at the time. So I wanted to do old school stuff, and this lens was pretty good. It was contrasting more so than the Nikon lens at the time, but as far as use case, I love that I could, what they call the focus clutch. Yeah, pop it down and put it in manual or pop it forward. Well, either way, you could pop it in one direction and you go into manual mode or auto mode. So I like that lens. I shot with it a lot and got some pretty good images out of it. I decided I wanted to test it out in some nighttime capability. So I took it downtown, DC, and I shot some things at night. I got a couple pictures here you can take a look at. This is me experimenting, trying to stop water with flash. Some of it was with a flash and some of it was just handheld, trying to get that smooth look with a lower shutter speed. So that, I did a lot of experimenting. You know, back then you had the photo magazines. I bought a lot of photo magazines and saw what the pros were doing and figure I'd try to replicate some of the things myself. As time went on, I picked up that 60mm macro lens finally. I got one from KEH. It was a ugly state. I mean, it looked, you know, banged up on the outside, but they said the optical quality was good. And I tried it out, I liked it, and I just, again, whatever I could get my hands on, whatever was around, I was shooting everything. So I started shooting little photo buds, you know, around the yard. And one of the things that I didn't know about macro lenses, if you put that sucker in a f2.8 mode, you have a sliver of area that's going to be in focus, especially, you know, if you get too close. Because when you get close, because you want to like get deep on things, you tend to lose light. So you want to, you know, bump it up, or, you know, get more light in, go down to an f2.8 setting. But of course, then you have that little area that you can actually get in focus of the lens. So I made some mistakes there, I learned, and as time go on, I got better with it. I experimented with water drops, you know, coming from pipes, so I want to see what this thing would look like, timing it, and, you know, trying to get the right shot. And yeah, it's interesting. You know, that led me to, of course, get a tripod, because hand holding some of these macro shots, they weren't the best, but I got some pretty good ones out of it. So the tripod helped me into taking more shots and learning how this lens worked. Once I got the hang of it, I started doing even more stuff with it. Friends, you know, there's a couple shots I have in here of people's eyeballs and reflection in their eyeballs. Because when I got close to stuff, when I saw things, I was like, okay, manual mode, stick this thing over and try to focus on the eyeball and get the reflection from the eyeball. And man, that was just like a whole other world of, you know, photography for me. I was into the macro thing like crazy. Anything I could shoot, I was sticking that lens into everybody's faces. Anything that I can get close up, I want to see what it was like. My girlfriend's lips, ears, you know, everything. I always take photos of everything. And I had a fun time shooting with that lens. I started shooting some portraits because I wanted to see, you know, what I could do with my 24-70 lens. Of course, I also took some photos with a 50mm. I can't forget that, but I don't have many to show you. I did a photo shoot with a old coworker of mine. You know, back then, everybody started on photography. Well, I wasn't really starting. I've shot for a while, but now getting back in the camera, I started shooting. My friend saw my photos and she's like, man, this is good. You should start a business with this stuff. And you know, I never thought about it. I'm in the tech field. It's not a thing that I really wanted to get into at this point. I just figured more as a hobby. And she kind of pestered me and pushed me to basically take a gig from her and shoot some portraits around her house. And all I had at the time was the 50mm. This was previous to the 24-70. So I shot with that, got some really good shot out of it, you know, shooting at 1.8, the Nikon D50. That was a fantastic lens. And learning how to get the right look from people was something that, it was like an on-the-job training kind of thing. Because I knew she had a better look than what she would pose that she wanted to give me. And I just kind of tell her, you know, just stop posing, let's talk for a minute. And while we were talking, I just stopped flying off a bunch of shots. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, I'm just testing, you know. And of course, at that point, I was also messing around with flash photography. Getting that little wedding photographer's arm where you can put the flash off to the side so you don't have that bright light showing the shadows in the background, because it's a little bit above the camera point. So yeah, it was a great time shooting that stuff. I did shoot some friend's wedding back in the day and would film stuff, so I had some experience with that, early 20s and so on. It was just my hobby, shooting what I was shooting. I totally forgot about mentioning that stuff on here on YouTube, but yeah, that's why I kind of got started and wanted to do it more, was shooting some weddings for my parents, family members and so on, you know, they like me shooting their stuff. They're professional, but then they saw my photos like, dude, you should really do this. You should pursue this as a career, not as a hobby. You know, I didn't really see the money for it, but yeah. Anyhow, I started to explore, you know, shooting with that 28 to 70 to see what I could get out of it, and I actually got some pretty good pictures out of it. And the more I got better with the camera and the lens, more equipment I started to buy. I found a 300mm lens. I was on a work trip out in Houston or someplace in Texas, and I remember I walked in the photo store and there's this 300mm f4 lens in there, and I was like, how much? $500? I'll take it. Of course, it was missing some of the drop-in filters, and I was like, don't care as long as I can focus what I have. Yeah, that was really good. I'll have more pictures for that one I'll have some pictures from that in my next chapter, but I started shooting the moon with it, and I want to see, you know, how close I can get this moon. And I also bought a Twix multiplier, basically shot with that stuff. So yeah, I went all over the place with this camera and shot different kind of stuff with the lenses that I bought, and it was just awesome in, you know, testing out some of these things. And that led me into doing studio work. And as a studio work is basically testing out different lighting to say I want to shoot people in a studio environment, hot lights and so on. But yeah, this is D50 Adventure. The pictures were great from that camera. I mean, we want to talk about image quality. Nikon had image quality from way back then. The images you're seeing are 6-megapixel images. Some of them are probably cropped, so they probably won't fill up the screen, but there were some awesome pictures that I got from that camera. And I think back then, the cameras were using CCD sensors, not CMOS sensors. And I have to say the green and some of those things at nighttime don't look as bad as what we have now with the CMOS sensors. And I think, what, 1600 or so was probably the highest, or 3200. I don't remember what the highest ISO was for those cameras, but it wasn't as high as the stuff that we have right now. But yeah, I got some, you know, decent shots. And these are basically the raw files. Some of the photos that I wanted to show you guys, like the photo shoot of that young lady, I had lost those because a backup driver had crashed. I lost that. So as we close out, check out these pictures that I've taken over my time with the Nikon D50.
I develop film, not feelings. Ooh, I develop film, not feelings. Ooh, I develop film, not feelings. Ooh, I develop film, not feelings. Take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. Pull up and take the shot, take the shot, take the shot.
So that's a look at my D50 experience. I'm gonna do another one on the D200. Pretty much I'm gonna be doing one on all the cameras I've had from Nikon over the years leading up to the Sony. So hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. And remember, please like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.